please. Starting from now, if you ever face a situation or position like this, don't resign. I have a very easy formula to use when facing an endgame like this. This position is a draw, but in reality, even 1,800 and 2,000 rated players still struggle with king and pawn endgames. Okay guys, I'm going to give you a very simple tip. Even beginners can do this easily. Let's get into the lesson. For positions like this, look at the opponent's king standing behind the pawn. No matter where it is, the point is, the king is behind the pawn. Your job is to keep your king directly in line with the opponent's pawn, which means going to d5. This is the formula so you don't get confused. It means you don't really need to think after adopting this formula. And honestly, this formula truly works 100% in back rank positions like this. If the opponent's king is behind the pawn, then your king must always stay directly in front of or aligned with the opponent's pawn. This is mandatory. If not, the pawn will promote. If the king goes to c5, your king still stays aligned with the pawn, which means going to d8. Even though in some cases, when everything is still in the center, your king can move back to these two squares. But I recommend this to you. Just place your king directly in line with the pawn to make the formula easier to remember. Okay, let's practice. King c2, king d5. Or if black moves first, we play king d5. King e3, king e5. Okay, let's repeat it. King c2, king d5. King c3. Now the next formula. If the opponent's king is aligned with the pawn in any situation, even if the king is on e3, you should always place your king aligned with the opponent's king. Your king must go to c5. This is a strict formula, you cannot break it. Okay, king c5. Because if you break it, for example, if the king goes somewhere else, then of course we lose. The king will go to c4. If king d6, then king d4. Don't believe it? Okay, let's test it. For example, king c6, king c4, king d6, king d4, king goes back, king e5. Here, black loses. No matter what they try, the pawn cannot be stopped from promoting, no matter where the black king goes. Then d7. The king tries to stop it. No, it won't work. After king e7, obviously king c7, then the pawn promotes. Black loses. Or if you're still curious, for example, in this position, king d8. Same thing, it doesn't work. King e8, then king c7. Or if the king goes to c8, then king e7. This pawn is about to become a war commander, and nobody can stop it. Okay, white wins. So if white king is still behind the pawn, you should keep your king in front of the opponent's pawn or directly in line with the pawn. King c2, king d5, king c3. Don't wander too far away from the white king or you lose. Your king must stay one square away from the enemy king. The most important point? Your king must stay aligned with the opponent's king, which means c5. Pawn check. Back to the first rule. If the white king is behind the white pawn, we place our king in front of the white pawn or directly in line with the pawn. Exactly like this. King moves. Remember, the king must still stay in front of the pawn because the white king is still behind its pawn. If king c4, place your king in front of the king with one square distance. Or, if the king goes to e4, remember your king must stay in front of the king. Yes! King e6. Pawn check. Remember, the pawn is still ahead of the white king. Exactly! The king must stay in front of the pawn. The king is still behind the pawn. Then, king d7. If king e5, then of course king e7. King c5. Yes, you guys understand now. King c7. The pawn gives check! Place the king in front of the pawn. King moves. Remember this position? The king must stay in front of the pawn, no exceptions, because we're already on the back rank. If the pawn pushes forward, just capture it. King c6, king c8, or if it goes to e6. Yes, king e8. This is a draw, guys. The important thing is, don't break the rules. Just follow those two formulas. Even until you go bald, it's still a draw. Or if the king goes somewhere else, it's still a draw here. Remember? Yes! No matter what they try, it won't lead to a win. Okay, the king moves away from the pawn. We capture the pawn. Or king d6. Stalemate. Your king clearly has no legal moves. So if you follow those two rules, don't resign too quickly in king and pawn positions like this, because this is a draw. Hopefully you understand now and truly get the formula, because it's very easy and simple. So you really need to apply those two rules, especially in back rank positions like this. The moment you break the rules, you lose. King c6. Place your king in front of the king. Or, if the king is still behind its pawn, your king must stay in front of the pawn. Even if it goes to e5, your king still stays in front of the opponent's pawn. Because if you break the rules, for example king e8, congratulations, your king is about to run out of breath. King f8. Obviously the pawn promotes. And same thing if the king goes to d8. The pawn is unstoppable. It's about to graduate after d7. King. Only move. King e7, then pawn promotion. So you really need to understand and master this formula. Because mistakes like this happen all the time in blitz or rapid games, especially under time pressure, which makes your mind lose focus. That's because you don't understand the theory. So your king must stay in front of the pawn. King moves. King in front of the pawn. If king c6, king in front of the king. King c5, king in front of the pawn. Okay, let's continue. Hey bro! Yes! What if the position is on the edge of the board like this? Honestly, I like this even more. In this position, you don't need to burn your brain at all, because this is way easier. This is a draw 99% of the time. Or more specifically, the H file and G file. No need to make weird moves. Okay, let's test it. No matter what your opponent does, in this case white, you only need to keep your king consistently on those two edge files, H and G. No matter how hard your opponent tries, even if your opponent had 100 people helping, white still can't win here. Okay, this is clearly a draw. Okay guys, those are the two rules you need to master, and you really need to understand them well, because positions like this happen very often in chess games. So if you face an endgame situation like this, you definitely won't struggle anymore. Hope this helps. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.